Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today I'm taking a look at the lens I purchased for my Panasonic Lumix S5 Mark II, which I have here. And the lens I purchased was the 14-28, the S14-28. I think it's a fantastic value for money lens. I purchased this used from Wex Photographic. I got it at a really good price and I'm really enjoying this lens. Now I love ultra wide angle lenses. I think they're really suited for the sort of work that I do. I don't do paid work as such anymore, I'm retired from that, but I love photographing architecture, buildings, streetscapes and that sort of thing. And I love the ultra wide look. I don't know why, but I do. And I thought I wanted to get a really nice quality lens for my Panasonic camera. I've been using the 14-30 for the Nikon Z6 and I really did love that lens. I took it to many places. I really enjoyed the look that lens produced. It was an ultra sharp lens, beautiful quality lens. So I wanted something similar for my Panasonic S5, and the 14-28 fitted the bill perfectly. Now, it isn't a constant aperture lens, it is a variable aperture lens, and that may put some people off. But because this is a full frame body, it can handle the higher ISOs if you need to bump up the ISO because of the variable aperture when you go into low light. Also, because I'm doing static objects, I can actually reduce the shutter speed because there's great image stabilization in the body of these cameras. It's really good. So all of those things weren't an issue to me, but it's a nice lens. It fits on the S5 beautifully. The aesthetics is really nice. Very similar design to the other lenses in the Panasonic S range, such as the Panasonic 50mm one, similar sort of lens hood on the 14-28. They're all very similar design, and I love the design of these. In fact, they're my favorite design of lenses of all of them. I think the Sony ones are okay, but I don't think they're anywhere near as nicely designed as what the Panasonic ones are. Although, to be fair, the design isn't the important thing. It's the optical quality that is really the most important thing. And we'll go through that on my computer here. I'll be loading them into Capture One, and you can see what the quality of the images are like. I would strongly suggest though, rather than studying them on this video, is take a look at them on it'll either be my Flickr or my SmugMug page. Take a look at them there. I'll also leave links in the description where you can find these pages. Also, I'll leave a link to where you can download trial versions of SmugMug, Capture One, and Luminar Neo and other programs you may well find you want to play with, you might want to buy. If you do want to buy them, use the codes that are in the description so you can actually get discounts. But yeah, getting back to the lens, so it's a 14-28 lens, variable aperture, really nice smooth focus ring and zoom ring. So the zoom is actually internal, so there's no zooming, there's no tromboning. So the lens will zoom internally, which is really nice. And doesn't adjust the weight of a lens or the balance of a lens because it's all focusing internally and zooming internally. Got a really nice focus ring there. It's wide, it's easy to grab, and it's really nice quality. Lens hood is great. They're my favourite lens hoods. Although it's bayonet mount, it uses a clip on the side here just to push it in, and then the lens hood will come off. Obviously the same with putting it back on. It's a really nice, good click. Very solid click, very solid lens. It's an owl mount lens, obviously designed for the owl mount bodies, such as a Panasonic S5, the S5 Mark II, even the Sigma FPL, any of the owl mount bodies this lens will work with. The lens is weather sealed to a certain degree. It has got a gasket around the mount of the lens for weather sealing, and Panasonic rates it as dust and splash proof. So you can take it out in showers and what have you, but I wouldn't want to take it out in a heavy storm or whatever. But there is weather sealing on the mount of that lens, and it is a metal mount, so it will fit the body perfectly, and that will last for years, taking it on and off. I don't think there'll be any issues with this withstanding quite a bit of abuse out in the field, as it were. But yeah, works great on the actual body. It's not that heavy either. All the lenses in the Panasonic range are quite lightweight, so I think that is definitely a bonus, and it's a bonus for me because I suffer with arthritis, so I don't want to be taking out heavy gear. I took this out for a whole day with this body. The body is quite heavy, but had no problems because the balance is nice. It's a nice weight to it. Its minimum focusing distance is 15 centimeters. That's throughout its entire range. So you can use it for macro work. It's not a true macro lens, but you can get in quite close to subjects and actually get some really, really nice, interesting looking photographs. It's not a bokeh lens. It wouldn't be. It's an ultra wide angle lens. So you're not going to get a tremendous amount of bokeh, but you can create that depth between the foreground and the background if you photograph in something or video in something that has the foreground quite close to the front element of a lens. It is a variable aperture lens. It goes from f4 at its widest, so f4 at 14mm, to f5.6 at 28mm. So, you know, it's not bad actually, 5.6. It's not as good as if it was an f2.8 lens, but the size of an f2.8 or even a constant f4 lens would be considerably bigger. It'd be considerably heavier, and also considerably pricier. Panasonic do a 16 to 35. That's well over £1,000. It's about £1,300. So that's considerably more expensive than this lens. But the optical quality of this lens does stand up. It's really, really good. So let's now take a look at some of the photographs I've taken out and about in the garden and out and about. So let's have a look here. That's taken at 14mm in my conservatory, or one of our conservatories. Lovely and sharp, corner to corner sharpness is great. So that was taken at its widest. Then that was taken at its widest as I was walking around, and they say brickwork is sharp. Again, corner to corner. It's not a bokeh lens. You're not going to get that lovely depth of field difference between the foreground and the background unless the foreground is really close to the actual subject. And again, that's taken at its widest, and I just love the look that, you know, a 14mm lens gives. You can see here how the sharpness is great. I haven't got it quite level, have I? Nowhere near level, but hey ho. Yeah, sharpness is great. Color rendition is really good with this lens. I can imagine it being used if you're a wedding photographer and you need a lens for taking group shots. This would be the ideal lens. It really would, because you can use it at 14 if you've got a really, really big group, or, you know, zoom in to 28 if you want a slightly tighter shot. And I'm using it, as I say, predominantly for cityscapes, landscapes and that kind of thing. And I think it suits that beautifully. Again, the colours are beautiful, the sharpness and definition, but it doesn't look digital. What I love about the Panasonic images, they don't look digital. They look very organic and film-like. That's what I think. Take a look at them yourself on my SmugMug page. You'll see what I mean. But it brings out the clarity really, really nicely. Just looks really, really good across the whole range. Well, that's shot at 14mm, and that's from the same angle at 28mm. So you can see, you know, how wide 14 is. It gets, you know, gets a lot in. You get a bit of distortion at 14mm. So, you know, that's a nice thing with being a zoom lens. You can zoom into a tighter shot if you don't want that distortion. But I like the distortion. I think it looks adds, you know, character to the image myself. But yeah, again, that's shot at 14mm. I'm scanning through these because there's no point in going through them in detail. I would strongly suggest you look at them again on my Flickr page if you want to see them in detail. You know, really, really nice images that come off this lens. And for me, it's a great travel lens. This lens and the 20 to 60 is, you know, these two are great combinations, and I really like the 20 to 60. Panasonic class the 20 to 60 as a kit lens. I don't class it as a kit lens really. I always think kit lenses are not optically as good as, you know, their prime lenses or their more expensive lenses. Optically, this 20 to 60 is really, really nice, and it's the same with this 14 to 28. Optically, I think it's as every bit as good as the more expensive lenses in the Panasonic range, apart from the fact it hasn't got that constant aperture. It is variable from f4 to f5.6 when you get down to 28mm. but the weight of it is really good. There isn't many functions on the lens, there's nothing exciting. It's got an autofocus, manual focus switch on the side there, which isn't necessarily needed really, because the Panasonic bodies have got the autofocus, manual focus switch on the top of the body there. So that isn't really necessary, but it is there. It has a 77mm filter thread. That is great if you want to put filters on the front, such as ND filters or polarizing filters. Some ultra wide angle lenses actually bulge out the front, so you can't put filters on. But this has got a flat front, so you can actually put filters on the lens if you so desire. So there we go. That's a quick look at the Panasonic S14 to 28 variable aperture lens. I think, as I say, if you are getting into, or if you are into the Panasonic L mount system, or even the Sigma FPL, this may well be a lens well worth looking at. Great value for money, great image quality. So there we go. Thanks very much. I hope you found this review useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. Hit the like button if you like the content of my videos. Would really appreciate that, and it does help me grow the channel. Thanks very much. See you again soon. Bye.